Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to James Cameron.
I almost bailed on being a filmmaker. It's about sitting in that big dark room with all those other people you don't know, and something's going to come up on that screen that's going to take you somewhere.
I'm the king of the world! Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a very, very, very special episode of James Cameron 101. I am your host, Eddie Green. Tonight, I have assembled a beautiful panel of talent that worked on this masterpiece right back here, The Terminator, which is, of course, celebrating its 40th anniversary this year. It's 40 years old come October, and it's hard to believe, but here we are. We're going to be celebrating tonight. And again, I'm not doing this alone. That wouldn't be fun. It's fun to talk to the people and the talent that worked on the film and maybe reunite some of them. Who knows? Who knows? So in no particular order, I'm just going to bring them in the order that I see backstage. I can see everybody. They can't see anyone except me and themselves. So they don't even know who's joining. So this is potentially very exciting. So here we go. Right from the top. I hope I get all my introductions right. She is someone who is credited in the stunt category. She also had a bit role as the dancer who is shot by the Terminator in the tech noir scene. She literally, if this is who I think it is, she took a bullet for Sarah Connor. It's Marian Green.
Yes. Hi, Eddie. Hello, everyone. Yes, I took a bullet for Sarah, sacrificed my life so that for the good of humanity.
And I just want to, because we share the same last name.
We're not related.
No relation.
As far as I know.
As far as we know, yeah. As far as we know. But it's a pleasure to talk to you because we've been communicating, obviously, online. So it's great to finally meet you. And thank you for putting aside time. I know you're at the hospital right now. Your husband's in the hospital, so sending good wishes his way. But thank you for coming on and celebrating tonight.
Thank you.
All right. Now, next up is actually someone you put me in touch with. Last minute, he was not part of this at all because I didn't have contact info for him or anything. But you said, hey, you know what? You should probably get him on because he's the stunt coordinator, and he was also one of Arnold's stunt doubles. It's Ken Fritz.
Hi, Ed. How are you?
How's it going? Good to well, it's good to meet you, and compliments of Marian right here. She put us in touch.
Yeah, she's a good kid.
When was the last time either of you spoke or saw each other? Was it on the Terminator?
Probably so.
Oh my Lord! But you've stayed in touch all these years.
A few times, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other because I'm on the East Coast and he's still in Los Angeles. Sorry about the noise here. Should I mute myself? Should I mute?
If there's ever any loud noise, you can always mute yourself. But thank you for being here, Ken. We're going to get into some of the great stories, I'm sure, of the stunt work and everything, and what it was like to double for Arnold. You sent me a great photo of yourself in the makeup, so it's awesome. Speaking of makeup, we have tonight with us a friend of the podcast, somebody that I've done so many of these with. It never gets old. This guy is awesome. He is the Academy Award-winning makeup artist on Terminator 2, but of course he also did the makeup on Terminator 1. It is Mr. Jeff Dawn.
Hello, Eddie. Hello, everybody. Ken, it's been 40 years
Hey, Jeff,
I made you into the Terminator.
Hey, how are you, buddy?
Real good. Good to see these folks here.
Yeah. Well, and it's great to see you as well. Like I said, we've done many of these, so it's always a nice touch to add you to it. And we'll get into, of course, all the behind the scenes stories. Hopefully some new memories come up because we've talked about this ad nauseum, but it never gets old, does it?
We have, and Eddie, some of the other guests there are probably familiar with this. I think Ken is. There's a gentleman, Chris something, that's doing a Terminator 1 book, a very, very thorough book. And I've done several interviews with him, including about an hour yesterday. So many of the things we'll talk about are kind of fresh in my mind because he was reminding me things that he's much more aware of because he's been speaking with all these people for a year now. So wow. I'm ready to rock.
Wow. All right. Perfect. Great. Great. All right. We have 3 more guests, and then we're going to get rocking and rolling here. Next is also another last-minute addition. I was going through the IMDb credits one more time, and I was like, is there somebody? And then literally, I think right below Marian's name is a gentleman who is also in an uncredited role as a bar patron who stands near Sarah Connor in Tech Noir as she's calling the police station. It is a Mr. Darrell. Mapson.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And sorry, Mapson, right? Darrell Mapson.
Yes.
There we go. Perfect. Well, thank you for joining. Literally last minute, I messaged you maybe a few hours ago, and I was like, "Hey, are you the Darrell Mapson from the Terminator? And if you are, would you like to join the roundtable?" And here you are.
Absolutely am. Yes. I'm a little bit older than I was back. Obviously, I probably look different. We all probably do. But it was a fun experience. Honestly, I really didn't even know who James Cameron was yet. Starting out in my career, and I think he was just starting to make a name for himself. And he was looking at a few of us in the crowd there that showed up as extras, and he kind of pointed at me and walked away. And then his assistant said, "Come with me," and we went over there, and he showed me what to do. Try to make Sarah uncomfortable by the payphone, and so I think I did that because she looked at me and turned and ran out the door. So I must have done it right, I guess.
Yeah. You were definitely that eerie presence that was, I think, the whole point of that scene was to make Sarah very like someone's following me, and I don't know who I can trust at this point. So
it was really fun to be on the scene with her just for a little bit there. And hey, look what I found. I found this parking sticker. It fell off someone's car accidentally.
Wow.
So I picked it up and saved it. This was what they were using on the car. Some of you may remember for parking, as a Terminator parking. I failed to get autographs, so that was one of my mistakes there. But that would have been fun.
Incredible. Well, thank you for being here, Darrell. Very, very last minute. And we're going to have some fun tonight. Next up is someone who on IMDb is credited in 2 roles, post-production supervisor / production manager. It is Mrs. Donna Smith.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Donna, how are you?
Yes, yay. I'm
You're
in
my
good
girl.
I'm in good shape. None of us are 40 years older. We know that.
Well, it's great to see you. Do you have a parking sticker you can show us or anything?
Well, there's a bit of a story with that because the Teamsters themselves made a separate parking sticker. They didn't approve of the one that Darrell just showed. So they made a separate one, and I have that. Yes, I have the original of that.
Wow. Incredible. Well,
Yeah,
what was that? Sorry.
it has the truck blowing up is what they put on it.
Interesting. Okay. I've never seen that. I've seen all the knickknacks and everything that people took from but I've never seen that. So that's very cool.
That's pretty cool.
And last, but certainly not least, we have joining us tonight, the Sarah Connor. And here we go. I'm going to play a clip.
Sarah Connor.
Yes.
It's Marianne Muellerleile right there.
Hello. Good work on the last name. That's a hard one.
Well, Marianne, I talked to you a few years back in 2019 for my Terminator 101 podcast. And in that episode, you schooled me on how to pronounce your last name. And literally it has stuck. Marianne Muellerleile. I'll never forget it.
Thank you.
But it's great to have you here. I mean, you are Sarah Connor for all intents and purposes. So
But unlike Marianne, I didn't have a choice. I was shot against my will.
The very first question, and I mentioned it at the very top, can any of you, does it feel like 40 years ago, or is it sort of like, holy crap, 40 years? What?
Yes, actually, it does feel like 40 years because some of the executives and some of the people got these jackets.
Oh my God, Ken.
I still have my jacket.
Wow.
Very
I don't have mine. The problem is I don't fit in mine anymore.
That's amazing. So everybody here, literally everybody got one of those?
No.
Oh, no, not me.
Department heads
I
mostly,
did.
from what I understand, the UPM, was the greatest lady in the world, and she picked out who got them, who didn't, from what I understand.
I have 6 of them, Ken.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's amazing. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight each one of you. I'll make you full screen. And so we'll start with Marianne at the top there. You've obviously, I mean, when I reached out to you initially in 2019, you had gotten, you had talked a lot about this, and it is such a tiny role, but it is such an important role in the overall story of what happens. And obviously 40 years later, we're still talking about this particular movie that you have. And I mean, you have a Rolodex of credits, but for some reason, the Terminator. So I'm not curious, because I'm pretty sure I covered it in that first episode, how you got the role, but compared to, so you're Sarah Connor, and of course, Linda Hamilton is also Sarah Connor. Have you stayed up to date on the other Terminator films? Have you watched Terminator Dark Fate or any of the? No?
No. I barely remember this one. I saw it once.
Wow. So what, at the
Back
premiere?
when it first came out.
At the premiere, kind of?
I'm not a science fiction person, and my husband is, and he's watched everything multiple times, even bad stuff he watches. He's so addicted to sci-fi.
Wow.
He reads it and watches it, but no, not me, dear.
No. So it was sort of you did it, and then you washed your hands and then.
Well, I mean, I was called at 6 a.m. and wrapped at noon. And I'd only been in LA about 3 years, and it was just another job, really. I didn't. I mean, I had I told you on the first interview, I had an exceptionally good time in the 6 hours, but it was not anything to get too worked up about. It was I made $600. Lovely. Yeah. Of course, I've been getting residuals for 40 years. That's why I know it's been 40 years.
And of course, I'm sure people have seen it. There's a great photo of you and Arnold. That's like a behind the scenes photo. That's somewhere on the internet. People can find it. But
I've since worked with them 2 other times.
Yeah, right. Jingle All the Way. And what was the other time?
I shot the NFL, the Super Bowl commercial with him for BMW a couple of years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we chatted, and his, he always has his team, his buddies with him, and one of them, the way we were positioned, I couldn't get near him on the set. I was, but his buddy saw me. He said, "Hey," and he said, "Come on," and that's when we chatted and caught up. I told Arnold I see him on the next job. I'm 75, he's 77. I said, "Well, keep going."
Now, did you feel any obligation to go, "Do you know who I am"?
No, I would never say that.
No. So
to me, it's not relevant. And anyway, it's not relevant for me to have him acknowledge that to me. But his friends, he said, "Oh my gosh, it's our Sarah Connor." And he was very warm. Arnold's always very warm. He's a very people person. He told me I look great. And then he did on his Instagram, he did a whole thing on me, to my name, and I'd done all these credits and how great it was to see me. It was very generous. He is that way. He's really a people person, and he extends himself. And then his buddy said, "Yeah, and she was in the truck with you." He said, "Oh my gosh, it wasn't that fun," or blah blah blah.
Amazing. Now, Ken, you obviously doubled as Arnold in the film. Is there any fun anecdotal stories you have that you want to share?
Oh yeah, after Arnold goes to the police station and goes, "I'll be back," I'm the stuntman that drove the car through the police station. And the funniest thing is I play the second cop that gets killed. Well, the special effects guy, Roger George, squibbed the cup by my hand, and they actually put scalding hot coffee in it. They dynamite blew up. I'm no actor, but that was hot.
horrible.
You know, so
Wow.
that's one. Like I say, working with James was a great time. The makeup on the show was fantastic. I worked on shows for God 38, 39 years now, and his makeup was fantastic. Like I say, it was a fun show to work on. It's one of the most fun shows I've ever worked on. I've doubled Jack Nicholson. I've doubled a lot of great actors, but this is like the best to me.
Wow. Wow. And this is the first time I've ever met you, and just looking at the hairline that you have going on there, I see Jack Nicholson. I 100%. So I totally get why you did that. But
last show we did together, I think it was Good as It Gets. But
yes,
this is Good as It Gets. Didn't even compare with this show. This show was #1 in my history book.
absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's the takeaway for a lot of everybody on the movie. Marian, you obviously took a bullet for Sarah Connor. What was that scene like to shoot? Like, was it very hectic, chaotic, obviously, but
No, it wasn't. It was actually, we just went through the steps, and I believe I got it on the first take. I take the bullet, fall on top of Sarah, and then the rest of the scene played out with Michael Biehn, and I also remember now, Ken. This has been, I cannot remember. Were you the guy who went through the window when?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And then I had another stud girl, another stud guy on top of you.
Oh. I have no memory of that. I
hope your husband is not listening to this podcast.
No, he's not. No, all I remember is, Linda having to, it was weird for me. I mean, I'm just this body on top of this other actress. But, I got it. But the thing that we were working, downtown, like near Skid Row or something. And
right, the tech corner.
Okay. And I hadn't been in any, this was only my third year doing stunts in 1983 when we filmed it. And I wasn't expecting much until the cast and crew premiere. And then when the music came on and we saw Arnold's booty from the back, I just knew. I thought this is going to be a great movie. And it was. And I've been so thank you, Ken, for hiring me, because it's really, even after 40 years, I'm so proud to have been involved in, just a small role. And I appreciate the residuals. So.
Well, thank you for working for the show.
Now, Darrell, obviously you were in a similar scene, but I don't think that maybe you and Marian ever kind of bumped elbows. But what was it like to film that? Obviously you talked a little bit about it at the beginning, but if you want to expand upon it a little bit.
It was a great time and unexpected. Really, it was kind of cool to be asked to be in that scene with Linda, and she was very nice, and everybody made me feel comfortable, and so it was just kind of a lot of fun to play the guy who was trying to make her nervous and everything. But I must say, actually, they had me doing some other things too on the set, different days. They had me dress up as a policeman, and Ken probably remembers this when they were shooting up the police station after he crashed the car in through the window there, the front doors. We were running around in the hallways and we were diving away from bullets. They were actually using ball bearings to shoot at the plexiglass to make it all shatter and everything. And that they told us, just make sure you stay down when you go down, cover your head, because all this stuff's going to be flying around you. So that was an extra bonus for me to get to do that another day. And so
good.
That was pretty exciting.
Yeah, we destroyed that police station.
You did. It was a mess. That was fun.
Well, thank you. Because again, it's not really. Do you even speak in that? I don't remember if you spoke.
I wasn't union yet, and Gail Ann Hurd, was a producer, and she was talking to us at lunchtime and said she'd really like to use us if we're willing to help out some more and do some things, but she couldn't, pay us the union. We weren't quite union yet. I think I got in the union the next year. So, but what an experience. I wasn't even worried about it. I had a great time. It was a good experience. Meeting Arnold and all the cast and crew was great.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, did you bump into Arnold and Michael and everybody?
I didn't get to meet Michael. I did talk to Linda a little bit, and Arnold, and Arnold was friendly with everybody, and so yeah, it was great. It was great to meet him for real.
Can I address this to Donna Smith?
Hi, Ken.
Hey, Donna, do you remember this?
Oh, God.
Oh my goodness,
A
Ken.
40-year-old bottle of Corbel with, well, read it. I still have it.
That's cool.
What does it say, Ken? I couldn't see.
Yeah. What does it say?
Thanks for the great shoot, Gail and Hurd.
Right on.
Nice.
Oh, how nice.
Wow.
Cool.
You can.
Good for you. All this.
What do you think
Wow.
40-year-old Corbel's worth nowadays? $8?
19.
Wow. All right. Now, Donna, I am very curious about your roles, plural, because you're a production manager on the film and then a post-production supervisor. So what's the difference between the two for people that might not understand that terminology?
Well, all in all, I was on the movie for a year and a half. I like the lady in the beginning who said she was on for 6 hours because we worked 8 weeks of nights, and then we had to prep, of course. So I had 3 months of prep, 3 months of shooting, and then post-production was a lot of money. So I had Jim every day for a long, long time, and Jim's quite a character to deal with. It was a lot of work. He wasn't Jim Cameron yet. He was going to become Jim.
Exactly.
That was my daily with him was, Jim, we've only got so much money for this movie.
Yep.
We're going to come in on budget. You're going to do the way you said you did. And then you'll become Jim Cameron. But this movie's going to make it happen. And by Jove, that's what worked. It did work.
Yep.
So, and then post-production supervisor are you in the editing room?
Yeah, there's only one post-production supervisor. There's not a bunch of us. There's one. So I, headed up everything that happened, the music, the sound, when the actors come back to do the ADR work, everything about post-production. It lasts, I think it was 8 months of post-production. So, very long time, very involved. That's when all the sound and music and all comes together. Very, very big schedule. A lot of money gets spent during that time, as much money as it is when we were shooting. So it was a very long time. Terminator's a very fond memory for me.
Did you by chance go on to work again with Cameron, or is this the only one?
With Jim. No, we did talk about working together. I kind of had other projects that kept coming. So no, I never did work with Jim again. I didn't. I never thought of that question, but no, we did. Yeah, we've been friends. I see him a lot and we do things, but we never did a picture together. No.
All right.
Some Jim Cameron, didn't it?
Yes, he sure did. Now, obviously, Jeff, you did multiple pictures. You did do multiple pictures with Cameron. Is the Terminator out of all of them? I mean, of course, you won the Oscar on T2, but is the Terminator like right up there in terms of all the work you've ever done, like you're most proud of?
People ask me a lot of times, all right, which one do you like better, Terminator 1 or Terminator 2? And a lot of people say Terminator 2 because it made so much money and it was so famous. But Terminator 1 was my favorite. It was, thanks to people like Donna. Donna, thank you so much. It's so good to see you again. You were so sweet to me. I was a 25-year-old kid that had very little experience, a lot of confidence, a lot of sure I can do that. And that's worked out well in my career. But back then it was all a bluff. And it was a fantastic experience. We weren't making much money. Everyone on that show has moved on to have a great career. So that alone was the starting block, was the starter pistol for so many of us. It certainly was with Arnold. So
Oh, yeah.
Terminator 1 was definitely my favorite Arnold film, as well as the favorite Terminator film.
Now, somebody that I did was that I was trying to get on tonight, Peter Tothpaul. Since he couldn't be here, what was his particular role? Because I do want to make sure we mention him. What was his role on the
Sure. Well, Peter Tothpaul, a Hungarian hairstylist that came over here when he was about 25 years old and then has spent the rest of his life here, is Hungarian, still has a very thick Hungarian accent. I did 34 films with Peter over 40 years. Myself as makeup department head, Peter as hair department head. So,
And Terminator started that, didn't it, Jeff?
Terminator started it. Well, actually, there was a thing called Stranger's Kiss, a free thing that Peter and I did together, and that's how we met.
Oh.
And I think Peter had some history with some of the people on Terminator. I think it was Gail Ann Hurd, and through Roger Corman. And so Peter said, "Hey, why don't you go in and talk with this no-name, director and producer?" Which I did. They liked me. They approved me. Stan Winston approved me, and then I was on. And I went on to work 20 years with Arnold on a total of 20 films, and we're still in touch with each other.
Yeah. Same here. I did another 4 pictures with Arnold, and we're still close.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. So, when was the last time? And feel free to pitch in, whoever wants to chime in here. When was the last time you sat down and, well, I don't think Marianne, but when was the last time you sat down and watched the film start to finish?
I had some British guests in town in the month of June. Well, last month, essentially. So a month ago, all the Brits wanted to see it with me and wanted me to talk them through it. So I have had very recent experience.
And do you think it holds up still, or is it because I know, Jeff, we talked in one of the podcasts that certain things are definitely dated, but overall, do we think it holds up?
Oh, 100%. I think the movie is sci-fi, so you get to imagine a lot of things. But when Arnold drops to Earth nude, that movie's got.
and people give it, the freedom that's the way films were done back then. We used real effects, not it was in camera, so to speak. It wasn't post-production for the most part. And people miss that. That's old school, and people are willing to say, all right, I can see it's a puppet head, but I like it more.
Right. And has everyone watched the other Terminator films? I know I asked Marianne that question, but did everyone else keep up to date with the Terminator?
I agree with Jeff. The Terminator #1's got to be the best.
Yeah.
Especially when Darrell starts out naked. Being professional, I got him a body double, a bulked out naked guy. And I said, Arnold, what are you doing in the road? He goes, I'm doing my scene. I go, look, I got a body double for you. He goes, no, I do it myself.
Yep, he wanted to.
Thank goodness.
Being professional. They see guys are bad. I cleared the set of all unnecessary people. There's a block wall, and all the girls are looking above it. He takes his robe off.
Arnold is not a shy person.
No.
I thought that.
As far as I'm concerned.
A quick story. I believe it was, and Donna, maybe you can remember. I believe Arnold's first day was up at the Observatory.
Right.
Yeah.
And with that arrival scene. And I was a huge Arnold fan. I'd watch the movies. I had the calendars up. I'd go to the gym. Hey, everybody, you look fantastic. I was that dork of a fan. So to me, working with Arnold was unbelievable. And the first night, because Arnold had a tan line. Terminators don't have tan lines. He can't show up and walk with his naked butt with a tan line. So I'm on my hands and knees in the makeup trailer, painting his ass a bronzer color to match the rest of his body. And hey, Arnold, nice to meet you.
Oh my God.
That's how we got to know each other.
Wow.
I think we better drop it at that one.
That was his first. And Arnold had been in many ways kind of a buffoon until Terminator, because he had done the Conan movies and had that respect. That movie made that man just absolutely spring to earth. Everybody wanted him after that movie. He's a great actor with an accent.
And
Right.
it made Cameron. It
Yeah,
made him too.
Oh yeah, it was a career builder for all of us. And
Yeah.
you talk about it being holding up to today. How about the fact that it was science fiction back then, but now we're all talking about AI being a threat?
Sure.
Yeah.
It was, it's becoming science fact, frighteningly so.
Right. Right. No, I mean, it is. And I mean, obviously T2, a lot of people, myself included, that is the Terminator story for me. It's T1, T2, and then it caps right there. And then all the other sequels, although T2 3D did everybody get a chance to see that when it was at Universal Studios? It was a theme park attraction
Yeah.
that brought back Arnold, Linda, James, Stan Winston, Jeff worked on it. Did everybody see that or no?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, yes.
And
No,
I thought it was a great ride personally.
I was
yeah.
Universal then, so yeah, saw it.
Yeah, but then that is really where it ends for me. 3, 4, 5, and it just keeps going and going and going. But so we've obviously. Oh yeah, Marianne, go ahead.
How many are there?
There's currently 6 films. There's a television show, and this year, this month, there's a new Netflix anime show that's premiering.
Good Lord.
It's called
And how
Terminator
many did
Zero.
Cameron do? Did he didn't do all of them, did he?
Yeah, he just did
just
1
the
and
first
2.
two. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Just
Oh.
yeah.
Although the last one, Dark Fate, he was a producer on it, so he kind of came back and helped shape it. But so we've obviously talked about Arnold. Everybody loves Arnold. There's no bad stories as far as I'm aware of Arnold. Linda and Michael, is there any fun stories anybody has about those two working together? Linda and Michael Biehn?
Well, Linda cried a lot in real life because of Jim, though, not because of Michael. Michael was very dear and good, but Linda would every now and then just have that breakdown of saying he likes the machines better than he likes the actors.
Yeah.
In many ways. Yep, that's
Excuse me for interrupting, but you're exactly 100% correct. On the set, I'm sitting there next to her, Jim Cameron, she goes, my legs are all cramped up. He goes, that means you're not working out enough. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
No empathy.
Yes, you're exactly perfectly correct.
Yeah.
It was tough on Linda because Linda can be very method. And, when you're a method actor or actress and you're being chased and hunted and potentially murdered in every scene, she went home with that every night. And it was tough on her.
Yeah. She had a lot of emotions that came into that show every day.
Mm-hmm.
Marianne, obviously you were Sarah Connor. Did you get to meet Linda at all? Did they say, hey, here's the real Sarah Connor?
No.
No.
I haven't met I didn't meet anybody except, of course, Arnold, which I spent 6 hours with.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
And
I hope you all know they're making, maybe you've been contacted. There is a coffee table book coming out on the Terminator, and it's being written by, I don't remember the man's name, although I do have it in my phone.
His name is Chris.
Chris.
And then you can speak to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
anyway. They're doing it together with Cameron and this young man, and I contributed to that. I'm sure many of you did. Yeah. All I asked is, can I have a copy? We'll see if I get one.
So this book, do we know when it's releasing?
In 25.
Yeah, I spoke with him yesterday. I've spoken with him on and off for about the last year. We were on the phone for about an hour yesterday, and he said that he's going to get a copy to everyone. That it contributed to it. And of course it keeps getting pushed. And the final version, Jim has final say on it and has contributed quite a bit. Yeah. So, we'll see when he hands it over to Jim, if Jim does some editing.
I think Jim's still editing me. It's going to take a while.
But apparently Jim was quite open about things such as, Donna, you'll remember this, the halfway party we had at Gail Ann Hurd's house.
Yeah.
Which got quite wild. It was, it was kind of if you've seen the movie The Party with Peter Sellers, it was kind of like that. But Jim was quite open about the craziness of that party. So we'll see if it gets in the book.
Wow.
I'm afraid I think I called him mean as a snake. I'm sure that came out.
Now, obviously, there's also supporting players in the film as well. There's Lance Henriksen, who was supposed to be the Terminator. He was originally cast as the Terminator. And then, of course, a few years later in Aliens, he finally gets to play a cyborg. So I think that's Cameron going, oh, look, I'm so sorry I did you wrong in the Terminator. Here's a cyborg for you. Paul Winfield, who we lost a few years back. Does anybody have any stories they want to share on either of those gentlemen?
I think one of the gentlemen that did a lot was Roger George. He did special effects. Roger did a great job. Don't you agree?
Oh, Roger was the most wonderful effects guy for that movie that we could have ever had.
And Roger would call me up at all hours of the night and say, hey, Ken, what cars are we using tomorrow? And what are you doing with them?
Yep.
So I tell him, he goes, oh, God, I had to be there at 4:00 then. Yeah, but we got along, the whole crew, well, like I say, most of the crew got along very well together.
And like Roger George, we're talking about him now, the special effects guy. When I interviewed him, I said, Roger, I know about you. I know about your career. You're a good guy. I hear everything. But I'm a little afraid of hiring you because he had 4 fingers instead of 5.
Do you remember when we almost blew off the LAPD helicopters off of Tedcore? Not Tedcore, the LAPD station? When we blew up the tanker truck?
Yeah.
We had to clear the set, and the helicopters on the roof, LAPD told me they all went like this, you know?
Yeah.
I just see if Roger George knocked out 3 or 4 police helicopters for the roof. But we had fun on that movie.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a question. Did any of you think that the movie is going to be as big as it turned out to be? Because it surprised me, actually.
No.
Jeff, I'm going to talk to that. I'd never have understood sci-fi, so I was a little afraid of it. And I actually accepted a movie in Europe after I finished Terminator because I thought, I don't think I want to be around when this opens.
Oh.
And remember being in Europe, I shot there. And then when Terminator opened, it opened worldwide. And every town I went to in Europe had Terminator on the marquee. And I realized what a big hit it was in America because it was already a hit in Europe even.
Yeah.
So I did not see it coming that it was going to be as big as it was. And also pace for so many. I did the 3 Matrix movies since then, and Matrix got a lot of heat and a lot of press. I still don't understand those either, but I learned to understand.
Marianne, you had your hand raised.
Well, I was going to say, of course, I didn't know. To me, it was just another day job I was happy to have. And I was on my way to Mexico to vacation. So I had to, that was my priority. But I did call my mom because I'd only been in LA. I came in 81 and we shot in 83. And I said, Mom, I got a job. It's great. Oh, she said, blah, 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 blah. I can't wait to see it. I said, you won't want to see it, dear. No. But she said, well, the check will clear, right? I said, the check will clear. And so, whatever, X months later or a year later, when it finally came out, she was with me in New York and we were in Times Square. And at that time in Times Square, there were electronic stores all over with monitors outside. I mean, literally there were 15, 18 of these electronic stores and they had the monitors out. And of course, it was my scene.
Oh.
That was the teaser for the movie. My mother saw me in my scene so many times because that's all they played constantly.
That's beautiful.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
I didn't realize the power of it until the years have gone on now. I just got back yesterday from a project I've been doing in Europe for the last few months. It's like 5 a.m. to me right now. And almost every day in Budapest, Hungary, and in Romania, I would have crew, cast, extras come up to me and say, are you the guy that did Terminator 1?
Yeah.
All the movies I've done, and everybody there that was the big deal.
Cool.
Blade Runner.
Sure, all over every country I've ever been to. I used to wear Terminator t-shirts sometime. You did Terminator? Wow, that's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
I never refer to it as Terminator 1. It's just the Terminator.
Yeah.
But you know, the cyborg comes back from 2029, 5 years from now. How
Yep.
about that?
Yep.
Very
Yeah.
good.
And then obviously as the sequels went on, those dates started changing. So now there's been like 3-4 different other
Yeah.
timelines that it's been coming back from. So, but yeah,
Oh, I did
2029.
not know that.
Yeah, 2029 that's the one. That is the one that everyone holds on to.
In post-production, we had a lot of debate about, is it going to be the Terminator or just Terminator?
Interesting.
And
How come
everybody
Is it the Terminator or is it Terminator?
It's the Terminator. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is the okay.
we-
Yeah.
The one and only.
Now, did you work with Brad Fidel? Is it Fidel? Is that the name of the music
yeah, the
supervisor?
music composer. Yeah,
Composer. Yeah, great music. I mean,
it's wonderful. Da-dum, da-dum.
yeah. It was. I mean, my heart. I couldn't even remember my heart beating in time with the music. It was so powerful. Such a great choice.
Now, Marianne, just to speak to your mom and why you didn't want her to see it, it's starting to make, because at that time you probably weren't given the whole script, were you? You didn't know
Not
what
at
the whole
all.
movie. Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it.
You just had your scene.
I just called her up and said, "Hey, you want a day's work?" She goes, "Sure."
Yeah.
What do I have to do? Fall down and get shot. Okay. Where do I fall? Right here. There you go. Blah, blah, blah. And she did a good job for me, and everything went perfect.
Yeah.
Ken, I think you're confusing Marianne with
Oh, I'm
Marian.
sorry. Yes.
But it's the same. I didn't have the script.
I
knew it was
I
science.
remember being on location with you too, hon.
It was Van Nuys. I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah, I
We-
do.
We did a gun shop right near you.
Oh, yes, they do. It's not that I didn't want her to see it. I knew she wouldn't like science fiction,
Yeah.
Oh,
like I don't. I mean, I don't hate it. It's just I'm not drawn to it. You know, I'm happy it's being made, and Lord knows my husband consumes it and enjoys it.
But did anyone explain to you like what Arnold was, or was it just, hey, some guy's gonna knock on your door, ask for your name, and you're gonna get shot? Was that the direction?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we put the little dog in the scene also.
There was a dog in that scene.
Yeah, you have a dog on your lawn that's barking at him as he approaches.
That was Jim's dog. That's why the dog's in the scene.
Ah, cameo.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did audition for that silent part, almost silent part, 3 times.
is it true that after doing that part, you ripped up every phone book you ever saw?
But yeah,
Post-production, Jim said, Smith, I need you, blah, blah, blah. So all of a sudden, after Ginger, Sarah's roommate, had been shot, those are my hands crawling on the floor.
Oh,
So who knew? I mean, that happened totally in post-production. He never got a shot like that during it. We needed a transition piece. So my hands got to crawl on the floor.
wow. Yeah, that's Best Moda.
Yeah.
Best Moda. Yep. Wow.
That's
That's so cool. Yeah. Speaking to the dog, I assume the dog's there because it's been explained to us that only dogs can sense, like that's why they use dogs in the future to kind of scope out the Terminators. They can smell or something. So that's why the dog's going nuts when he's approaching your
I think
house.
someone's thinking too much.
No, I as far as I know, like that's what I assumed it was for, because when you flash forward to Kyle's future, that's why they have the dogs in the
That is true. That's why Linda Hamilton has a German Shepherd in the Jeep at the end also.
Right.
There you go. Oh, yep, there you go. Yep.
Shepherd's in it with her.
Yeah, no, look, this movie is obviously it's a masterpiece. I think we can all agree. 40 years later, it's hard to beat it. A lot of people say T2 did top it, and in a lot of ways it did, but I mean, this, for the budget, for how small it was, and
What was the budget? Eddie, what was the budget?
wasn't it like 6 million? That's what they say,
6.2,
6 million.
I believe it was 6.2 from what I was told.
Wow.
Okay.
Now you get that per day.
Not close, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then of course, once you get to T2, what is it? It's like,
Oh God.
it's nearly 100 million almost on T2, I think, right? It's like 90 or something like that.
Oh my God, yes.
Most expensive film to date when we did
Right.
it.
Wow.
Right.
At the time, yeah.
So, I mean, and of course, James Cameron went on to make a bunch of films. Not, actually, in comparison to some other filmmakers, he has a very small filmography. When you look at it, he's definitely quality over quantity. But this is something I love to ask everyone. I'll highlight everybody. What is your all-time favorite James Cameron film? Take out your association to the Terminator. What is your all-time favorite?
Did he do Titanic?
Titanic was
You
pretty good,
Titanic.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd say Aliens.
All right. So Marianne's going Titanic. Ken,
Marianne.
which one did you
I'd say
go with?
Titanic also.
Titanic. All
I'd say
right.
Aliens.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Jeff?
sorry. I'm jumping ahead here.
No, you're good. Jeff, Aliens.
Aliens.
Okay. Marianne, what's your favorite Cameron film?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
there's
Sorry. Yeah, no, this is very confusing. Marian.
Marian, like barbarian.
There we
Yeah,
go.
it's
There we go.
it's the Terminator, because for every reason, because I was so amazed at the cast and crew screening of what had been created, and from then on, you just start to expect he's going to make great movies. So,
Right,
but I
right.
did not expect that. So,
And Darrell.
The Terminator and the Abyss as well.
Ooh, yeah, The Abyss. Yep.
Yeah, that was an interesting movie, very interesting. And I think it was very challenging dealing with the water and everything, underwater scenes.
All right. And Donna.
I'm The Abyss.
The Abyss.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look at the effects in that. That was brand new. Yeah, The Abyss is the one.
Wow. And because it recently got a re-release in theaters this past December. Did anybody go see The Abyss in theaters when it was re-released?
No.
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 All right, well, I did. it was phenomenal. I had never seen it before. That was one of his films that I had somehow missed, and so I made sure it was the big screen the first time I saw it. So it's a great film.
Effects, that was a very phenomenal new beginning of effects that changed everything in movie making land.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it really did. All right, so look, we'll wind down here. We'll wind it down here. We're approaching 50 minutes. That's I think a good time to keep this episode at. But any last minute, if you remembered something during these, we're like, oh, I want to make sure I say that before the ending, or we can wrap it up here.
Oh, the car at the last scene on Terminator, it's a Jeep, and I drove it to work. Right, Cameron goes, "That's the star car."
That's yeah.
You know, so that's when we ended it in the Jeep I drove to work every day.
Wow. So the car at the end wasn't cast yet.
No, I mean, a company called Studio Picture Vehicles did all the cars, which we know very much of. They got credits, and I know the guy who owns it. Really nice guy. Ken something.
And also the last scene when Linda's in the car with the dog and the little boy comes up to the car.
Right.
That's two little boys. We had to recast the first kid. So one kid is shown from the front and another kid is shown from the back. Audience has no idea.
And they're very different.
One's a chubber and one's not so chubby. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, that was me. That was me when I was going on IMDb to look through who to potentially reach out to. I was like, wait, hold on. I thought it was only one kid at the end, and then I had to do a double take.
Yeah. No,
That's so cool.
Won't see it. But yeah, we had to recast them.
Wow, I love it. I love it. And yeah, I mean that ending with the Jeep just driving off. That's like a matte. That's a matte painting, right? Like that's not actually there, right? Those hills are not actually there. Can anyone speak to that? Like the hills at the end where she's driving off and it's like stormy.
That is correct.
It was enhanced. It was the gas station was there. All of that was our set, and it was the desert and the mountains in the background, but it was all enhanced.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
All I
Marianne.
have to say is I'm going to go watch The Terminator.
Hey, there we go. Yes. So this will be the first time in how long?
40 since 83.
Wow.
41 years. Or,
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you own it? Like, or are you going to stream it? Hopefully.
Oh, honey, I don't know. I'll ask my husband.
know?
He does everything digital. He knows all that stuff.
Well,
I
if you
have
were
a copy. I do have it.
okay, I was
I
gonna
have
say
my
if you were
things.
if you were local, one of my things, like one of my obsessions, is I collect all variations of DVDs, Blu-rays, all of Cameron's films. I have, I think, maybe 40 copies of the Terminator from like UK, like France, all the different languages. So
What do you do with all of those, Eddie?
they are collecting dust on a shelf, but they make me they make me very happy to just look at and know that I have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
My husband collects comic books. We have over 50,000.
Yep, that's what it is. Seriously, I don't know why I have 50 copies of the Terminator, but I do.
He feels good.
Does anyone have the poster? Because I like putting up in my house. I have my 80s walls of all the shows I worked on in the 80s. But it's missing
Would you like to see the poster?
Yeah, go ahead.
In a gym that Arnold put in for me at my house here, I have a copy of it. Hold on a second. I'll have my wife go grab it off the wall.
Ooh, perfect.
Yeah, mine.
Now, Ken, is it the one that has the text? It says "In the Year of Darkness 2029." Is it that one?
I've got one in my office, and I've got this one here. I've got actually both of them. Sometime if you want to come down to Studio Pitch Vehicles, I can show you. I still have quite a few of the cars we used on that show.
Wow. Oh man.
And
Are you located? You're located in the Valley, right?
Yeah, right.
There it is.
The Jay Leno's Car Museum at the Burbank Airport.
Wow.
Okay,
There it
behind
Okay,
you.
let me get out of the way. Here's the poster.
Yep, and personally, that's my favorite one where it has that text right there, "In the Year of Darkness 2029."
Yeah.
And it goes on.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's so cool. It really is, I think, one of the most iconic posters of all time. And it's so simple too.
Yeah. Let me know if you ever want to auction it off, Ken.
I have a copy of the original script that's untouched.
Oh,
You don't have all the color pages in it? There should be
No
white-
multicolored pages. I've got my notebook, which is about this thick with 20 different colors. But I've got one script that's a virgin. Perfect.
a white paper script? Wow.
And it's like you say, I think you gave me one, and then Cameron gave me one. And so I put them both in the car, and I kept one up to date, and I never touched the other one.
Well, bravo. Okay.
Now I still have it.
there's your retirement plan.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad
Well-
you don't throw anything away?
Well, look, all I have to say is I sincerely thank all of you for coming on here. I hope this was fun to go down some memory lane, and just reminisce on this and talk about it. I know this was a blast for me as a fan of the film. It's going to be a blast for all the audience that watches this and listens to it. So yeah, that's all I have to say. And just stick around. We're going to do a formal goodbye. I'm going to wrap the episode right here. Like I say in every episode at the end, go watch The Terminator.
I will.